Great gang. So everyone's coming in and joining. We will kick off with our normal ritual. So for those of you who are activators, you know it well by now. Others, it's pretty easy. If you wouldn't mind, type in your name, your geographic location, and a one-word check-in. Just something about how you are showing up today, whether it's hungry because it was awkward between lunch or not lunch, or cold, or hungry because you're fasting because it's Ramadan, or groggy, or curious, or whatever it is. Just your name, your geography, and one word. And I know the default was off for video, but we do love to see your smiling or crinkled forehead or whatever your faces are. We love to see them. So if you're comfortable and in a good spot, would love it if you turn on your video as well while you check in. Just builds the movement, which is what we're doing today. Happy, good, over-caffeinated, fair, curious, good from England. Thank you for being here across the pond. Very sober, yeah, hungry and sober in Ramadan. Respect, y'all. Ramadan Kareem, productive, sunny. Yeah, finally sunny. Awesome. Keep the check-ins coming. The big picture. I love that. Ready. Sweet. Me too, Janice. Excited. And give everybody one more minute to get their Zooms in. This is like the 7th time we've done this exact same thing, 7 Tuesdays in a row. And today with the registration link, it was just a little wonky and it took us a while to get sorted. So we'll give everyone else the benefit too and give them another moment. Curiosity is great. Thank you for that, Susie. All right, we are getting there, and it is 12:03, which seems like as good a time as any to dive in. So hello, my name is Nell Derek Debevoise. I am the founder and CEO of Inspiring Capital, as well as a co-founder, a founding member of this Purposeful Collective, which is Andrew, who's on with us, Zach and Clay. Again, for those of you who are Purpose Activators, we're all old friends by now, and some of the rest of you too. And so today is the kickoff for this I See You campaign. I'm going to share a little bit more about to get introduced. We only plan to be on for about 30 minutes, just kind of quick and excited. Wanted to expand beyond our core group of 20 activators to some of our other friends and family, spotlight the work they've been doing with us, and tell you how you can now get involved either as an activator or just part of the movement that launches next week in partnership with some very exciting allies. So with that, just briefly, the first piece of this all is the Purpose4All movement. And so that has come in the last few weeks, really, as this collective, building on work that we have all been doing, Zach, Andrew, Clay, myself, as ourselves and as our companies for about a decade each. So this is not a Corona collaboration, it's our always work, but it has definitely been accelerated by this crazy time that we're all living in. So the Just Cause, as we call it, inspired by Simon Sinek, who has become a bit of an advisor and an ally, excitingly, in these last few weeks. We think of our Just Cause, or our vision, if you will, as a world in which we all have the permission, tools, guidance, and inspiration that we want and need to lead meaningful lives, so that together we can build flourishing teams, communities, and a thriving planet. And so that is what we are inviting you all to be. And that's why you're here. You have some extent of believing in that as well, or working for that. And again, this is what we've been doing for a long time, and feels like there is never a better time than right now to really take this to the next level. And I think a lot of you are already on board with the idea that purpose is really powerful right now. That's why you've been here and stay involved. But I think there's also a little bit of concern, or you may meet concern when you go out that I'm just trying to survive or stay healthy or whatever it is. How can I manage purpose right now? And our view of purpose is actually, I think, really perfectly suited right now. So as a reminder, basic definition of the reason for which something is done, right? Why something exists. And it is unique to you, right? We all have a purpose. It is universal and each of ours. It is a work in progress. It is not perfect or etched in stone. It is rooted in action. And so this is where the campaign comes in that I'll share shortly. It is in service of others, right? That spirit of contribution that Zach, as well as others of us, speak to often. And so that's where we see this ICU campaign as fitting in, right? Again, it's not a 6-month, 6-figure purpose discovery, coaching, branding journey. It is based in those little actions on a day-to-day basis. And so the ICU campaign that we have developed is designed to recognize and appreciate someone else's purposeness in those small ways, right? The FedEx guy that brings a dog biscuit and is kind of the highlight of your whole household's day, or the grocery store worker who is not bagging, recognizing that you want to stay away from them and showing up to work still, or the family member who is organizing game nights so that you all don't go crazy, right? Any of these little impacts are the things that this is designed to shine a light on. It also is something that we see as an important step on your own journey, right? So as we recognize purpose in others, I think that can be a less threatening and easier, a more at-hand way to think about purpose, and therefore then think back and reflect on how you are having impact on other people's lives, right? But our idea for the campaign was to make it more of a gift to someone else rather than a self-focused reflection. And finally, something that we have, again, I think sort of alluded to in some of the prep, but wanted to share with you all is we slightly pushed back this launch. Today is kind of a kickoff rather than the official launch, because thanks to a relationship that Clay and myself have, and just real philosophical alignment, we have partnered with Giving Tuesday. And so I imagine a lot of you know them. They've been around for 12 years, have built a pretty massive global movement that mobilizes hundreds of millions of dollars for philanthropy and charitable giving in the fall. So it's the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. There's Black Friday where we shop, there's Cyber Monday where we shop online, and Giving Tuesday is the kind of purpose-driven, impact-driven part of that. And so they are, in recognition of everything that's going on, they are hosting a Giving Tuesday Now, sort of a pop-up on May 5th, a week from today. And so when we spoke with the founder and CEO of Giving Tuesday, she was super excited about what we're doing and was like, why don't we all just work together? Why don't you launch this on the 5th in partnership? Their themes are around unity and generosity, not just financial giving. And so for us as the Purposeful Collective, that was a no-brainer. Plus the fact that they have this magnificent, hugely global and really robust network. So we are excited about that partnership as well. So that's a long intro, everything I wanted to say in the beginning. What we haven't done yet is another ritual or practice of our community, our collective, which is to ground and take a moment. So now that I've shared all that exciting information, just take a minute, shake out your shoulders, or do whatever you need to do. Put your feet both solidly on the ground. Take a deep breath in, let it go, and either close or avert your eyes before we go forth. And we'll just breathe together for 60 seconds. Make sure you're breathing deep into your belly and just lean into the gratitude and opportunity to be here together. And take a final deep breath and come back to us. And so with that, now that you have some of the background and nuts and bolts and excitement, I am excited to pass to my fellow collective founders and let them tell you what they're excited about and why they are here and what they're looking forward to. Clay, can we start with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to have this moment to share with you. And talking to so many different business leaders about the ICU campaign and the stories behind their unique contribution and why it excites them was a driving point for me as a purpose leader in terms of why I wanted to really be involved in this. But it wasn't until I spoke to my 97-year-old great aunt that gave me a greater sense of excitement for this program. And so she always asks me, her first question is, what's new and what's interesting, Mr. Clay? And so I was sharing with her this interesting campaign that we're doing. And she said, oh my gosh, well, how do I contribute? And I go, okay, well, I'll have to have a cousin come over and maybe help you with snapping the photo and things like that. I said, well, what excites you the most about this project? She goes, well, I'm 97 years old. And the idea of having gratitude and being able to see and share that gratitude for someone else gives me purpose. And because I will have an opportunity to contribute in a purposeful way, it allows me to continue to exist even longer. And when she shared that to me, like I just started to just weep and cry because it's something that so many people are really interested in and people are craving and I think seeking and interested in new ways in which they can pass that gratitude on so that they feel that they're contributing to the society. And so I'm so excited for this campaign. I'll be sure to find a way to get that photo from my 97-year-old to you guys.
That's amazing. If you're over 80 or under 18, maybe we should add an age to your post so that we can make sure that we have our spread. We need some centenarians in there. That's awesome. Zach, how about you?
I love that, Clay. Thanks for sharing. Purpose is not somewhere out there somewhere. It's usually right where we are, waiting to be acknowledged. That I see in my work all of the time is the absolute power that happens when is their own significance, when they, and we have the ability to give and help someone acknowledge their own significance in this campaign. So when we talk about creating a world in which every person knows not only that they contribute, but how they contribute, and that one of the key ways we can do that as a community is to by recognizing them, by showing people the difference that they make in our lives and our times. That evidence of someone's mattering is what people need to move to the next step of realizing they matter, defining their purpose, and contributing in the way that they were meant to. And so that's why I'm excited, is to have a community of people who are all committing to giving purpose to others and showing people the difference that they make, so that people can really feel that they have purpose and they have something to offer, and they contribute right now where they are.
Gorgeous. Well put. I'll add a thing. And Andrew, how about from your seat?
Yeah, those are both good, and I resonate with both those too. From my perspective, I guess I'd start by saying, I mean, again, I'm the software startup technical partner of this, but I don't think I'm the typical startup founder, because I'm the person who, when you're out and about, I kind of wish people would put their iPhones down and live more face to face with people. So, and we started our company more analog, just working with people in workshops. And then we built a software because we wanted to make it available to everybody, but we never wanted to lose the human element behind it. And so that's where this is cool for me, obviously, because, from the human element personally, I'm all about trying to find ways to build bridges. And I think amidst differences, I think we share more in common than we have differences. And this is just a really cool way to work with all of you and a lot of people in terms of like what Zach often talks about, how purpose is for everybody. And so, you know, it's a really cool way to live this out in a real way in terms of doing the things that matter the most, impacting people in our life. And so, yeah, I'm super excited about all of this.
Awesome. Thank you. As are we. So I'm going to turn it over in a minute to Zach just to share a little bit more about the activator role that we keep referring to for those of you who are friends and family and maybe aren't quite sure what that is yet. I just wanted to say briefly a few things about kind of what is in this for everyone, including ourselves. And so first, just really important to say that this campaign is intended to be totally open source. It's totally non-commercial. We do all have businesses that are linked to this. And so obviously, you know, it's part of our passion and part of our work to help people with the purpose journey. And so of course, there's brand building in this for us. But the campaign itself is totally open source, totally non-commercial, and will stay that way. So first of all, just to you all as friends and family, if ever you see anything that feels over the borderline or not comfortable there, please call us out, because we're doing our best and we're going to work really hard to keep that true. But it is also our work. Similarly, if you're interested in partnering with us in a commercial, professional way, please feel free to reach out and do that with us separately. But for you and for us, we just wanted to, you know, humans are humans. And so we react to incentives and rewards. So we're thinking of this in two ways. You know, internally, I think there's everything you just heard from Clay and Zach and Andrew and the work you've done to get here. There's massive internal reward and fulfillment in this work, right? Of giving that gift of recognizing someone for their purpose by calling out those impacts that they have had on you in big or small ways in the moment or days, weeks, years after. Also, there are for sure some external benefits, right? And so we are going to recognize all the activators on LinkedIn and build that community. There's also a Facebook community that we'll talk to. And I think, you know, the world that we certainly hope that we are moving toward is one that really values leaders who are able to be purposeful, right? And so for all of you, I think that's a credit to really burnish. And obviously many of you are doing that in your own ways. Our hope is that this becomes something additional, you know, another feather in your cap, to have that kind of external reference, as well as the community, right? We're 32 strong today, starting from, you know, 275 in our first conversation, and hopefully getting to many orders of magnitude more than that through the campaign. So just a little bit of a reminder about some of those carrots. But Zach, will you share a little about the activator concept?
We called them activators is because purpose is only real when we act with purpose. And so moving from this idea of just having purpose to full is something that's really important right now. There's a big difference between having purpose and being purposeful. A lot of individuals, organizations, and companies talk about having purpose. People think with a contribution first mindset that makes, and one of the most powerful ways to do this is to change our beliefs and to change our actions is to make a commitment. If you think to yourself, when you've ever done something and followed through on something, we often make commitments. And to say, for example, I will do no harm, or I will commit to being purposeful, we have a lens through which we can gauge our own activities and what we do on a daily basis. And there is someone who's made a commitment to be purposeful. You've made a commitment to think about contribution first, and you've made a commitment to show people how they matter and that they matter, to inspire a purposeful world. And this manifests in like a LinkedIn recognition and those sort of outward ways of being a purpose activator. But it also just puts it out there that this is how I'm going to judge my own behavior in this world, my own beingness in this world. And this is what I'm falling back on. So it's that public pronouncement of being purposeful. and being contribution centered. And so that's what I really want people to understand, is that putting that out there is the commitment to action and action orientedness.
Awesome. So we wanted to spotlight a few of the folks who have come through this with us and are now Purpose Activators. Congratulations. Can we start with you, Donnie, just to say a minute or two about why you're here?
Hi, everybody. My name is Donnie Grasso. I currently live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and my career background is in the healthcare field as a certified athletic trainer. My journey with Purpose kind of started, I found myself in a leadership role within my state athletic training society with the Young Professional Committee, and I was really looking to work on how I could evolve as a leader. And I kind of stumbled upon one day a podcast that Zach actually spoke in the Sharpen podcast for young professionals, where he talked about finding purpose within your work. And the message he talked about that day kind of really resonated with me. And fast forward a few weeks later, we found ourselves in what's happening in the world right now. And I was furloughed from my job, so it gave me some time to kind of sit and focus on myself. And because I've followed Zach on social media, I kind of stumbled myself into this group with the Purposeful Collective and in these events, and it made me realize that I can work on myself and I can help others at the same time, which is why I'm energized about this movement, is because when we go back to in the world, it's not going to be the normal we're used to, and there's a lot of negative stuff going on right now. So I hope that we can create a new environment where people feel inspired to contribute positively and not be so negative anymore.
Amen. I love that, Donnie. Thank you so much. We're so glad that you stumbled on this work, and really glad to have you. Sue, can I turn to you next?
Definitely. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sue Kaplan. I live up in Lebanon, New Hampshire, after about 30 years in the Boston area. I am a lifelong purposeful person. I grew up in a family where both my parents were very active in community organizations, and chose really quickly after I got out of college that I didn't understand why anyone would spend time, all the time that we all do at work, without having it be consistent with values. And so for me, my main passions in life are democracy and a healthy climate. And, I've worked on many other things like, nuclear test bans and gun control and healthcare. But those two things are the real consistent things in my life. And like Donnie, I stumbled upon this potential refresh for me, and getting new clarity around what I want to do and how I can contribute and what sort of impact I can make in the world, because both of the things that I care most about are in existential crisis. And so the sense of urgency drives me always. And I believe in all parts of life, we have to be consistent. I have to be consistent in how I am with people, and how I urge them to, figure out what they are most passionate about and do that. So this is community and connection is really important. And my new purpose, which is sort of very common from the past, but I really am starting to like it, is my purpose is to connect people and their ideas to spark positive change and fulfillment, so that all living things can thrive on our planet. And yeah, it's sort of, it works for me. So onward.
So beautiful. Thanks so much for being here, Sue. And then Sunil, speak about your role here in your work.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sunil Arora. I live in downtown Manhattan with my wife and two very young sons. Great to be here with all of you. I have, for the last several years, run my own coaching business, working with three categories of people: CEOs, founders, and executives within organizations, people who are in or approaching a big transition, and early stage entrepreneurs and small business owners. And for me, purpose is really what brought me to the work in a deep way. And it's one of the things that I look to explore with everyone, regardless of what we're working on, classic leadership challenges, transition issues, or building a new business. And what I found is it can often be hard for people to access because they associate it with just a certain type of work. Hey, if I'm not saving lives or the world in some way, this is not a relevant topic for me. And I'm continually trying to broaden it and have people appreciate it in a more holistic sense. And what I came upon in the Purposeful Collective here, and knowing Nell for many years and the wonderful work she's done and built with Inspiring Capital in this collective, is a way to access that for a broader set of people. And the coincidence of it being in this time is even more notable because two of the questions I've been grappling with the most with my clients over the last several months are, one, what do I want to pull forward from this period? With the reflections I'm having, the things I'm seeing, the things that are changing. And two, people who are fortunate enough to be in a really great circumstance from a health and setup and overall life standpoint, honestly admitting to themselves and me, hey, part of me doesn't want to go back to where we were before. Part of me is going to miss some of this, which is so ripe for exploration around, okay, how do we want to architect and design that next phase, right? Well, what is it that you don't want to go back to, which is where I think purpose can come into it. Again, in a more holistic sense, not just what you do professionally, but who you are and all the other aspects of your identity. So we'll close with my purpose statement that this great group and program has helped me really clarify, which is my purpose is to live and work with full consciousness and intentionality, so that I can sit with equanimity and help others find their own, as well as their alignment with their own purpose.
Another beautiful one. Thanks to PurposeMatch. For those of you who didn't go through the full Activator program, the software that Andrew referred to and our partner in this all is this really elegant software that just helps pull out your strength areas and your impact areas of interest to help then craft a statement, right? So as you heard, many of you probably are already on that journey and have some version of it, others not and new to it, but wherever you are on that, it's just a really powerful tool to help refine what that statement might be. It's by no means kind of a plug and play, this is who I am, and then it spits out 10 words for you. As you've heard, those are beautifully customized, personalized, unique statements that that PurposeMatch can help do. So if you didn't get to be part of the Activator thing and want to be involved in that kind of deeper way, you'll be getting a follow-up email. Just ping us back and we'll find a way to make that happen, because this is ongoing, and love to involve more of you who are up for it. So that is most of what we wanted to share, at least philosophically. I think, Sunil, that was a great note to end on, of that's exactly, you said it better than I could have, of why this is the moment that we're doing this and doubling down, and so keen to have you all help us amplify and spread this, because I do not want to go back to normal, right? That's what has got us all here in the first place. And so those of us who are, have such privilege and such reach to not be the first responders perhaps, but to be the second responders, right, who can help us get to that tipping point to a brighter, better, healthier, fairer, more inclusive, more sustainable, even regenerative future. That's really what this is all about. And so, yes, it starts baby and small with an Instagram or a Facebook post, but that is the fodder of bigger moves. So in that spirit, some very tactical next steps for us all, which are starting with crafting your own ICU post. So again, we'll be sharing out some guidelines for what that, for what we suggest that look like. All of these are just guidelines and meant to be merged and elaborated and made your own as we go. So we would love to have those from you, not by yesterday. That would be really hard. Even we all are not quite time travelers yet, but send it to us by next Monday, so that the new launch date, we can have some pre-populated stuff on our channels. This is a link to the Facebook group, which will come through on the email. I know that you may not be able to click the screen share. I'll put it in the chat, and we'll share it in the email. That is meant to be just a place for communication and community. What are you finding as you spread word about the campaign? What's your 97-year-old great aunt saying? Whatever those things might want to be. What objections or obstacles are you bumping into? That's kind of an inner conversation for us all to then invite anyone, colleagues, friends, to be part of that conversation. That is the address to send your post picture and language to by Monday. Sorry for the confused bullets, but we'll send that ask by email. And then next Tuesday, along with Giving Tuesday now, is going to be a real launch on Facebook Live, open to the public, and very much encourage you to bring more folks, just an energy building, spreading the excitement kickoff event. And right after that, we'll ask everyone to post publicly on your own channels. And again, that can be Instagram, that can be Twitter, that can be Facebook, LinkedIn if you're more active there, whatever channels or all the channels that you are comfortable on, using these hashtags, I see you for this campaign, also Purpose for All, to represent the larger movement. And feel free to include hashtag Giving Tuesday now if you're interested in being, linking yourself to that global movement as well. Again, with a focus on unity and generosity. So that's all easy. And then we'll change the world, That is really what we wanted to get through. If folks have time and want to hang and ask questions, you're very welcome to. If you are wrapping up and moving on, please do that. We ask that you check out as well as checking in, and just leave us with a word of how you're feeling now. We like to see what might have happened, if we've confused people or inspired you or lit you up or fed your hunger or quenched your thirst for alcohol or whatever we might have done in this 30 minutes. Let us know in the chat. And again, feel free to unmute and speak up if you want to share a question or a comment. But thank you all. Thanks to the collective, Clay, Andrew, Zach, how exciting that we're here, and to all of you for being here. Yeah, please don't use the hashtags till next Tuesday. Exactly right, Susan. Thank you for clarifying.
No, I wanted to speak up and just say thanks to everybody. I've been trying not to just cry, but I can't. It's so great to be in this energy with all of you. And, I was reading this morning about the Black Plague, and some pretty incredible things came out of the Black Plague, humanism and the end of the feudal law. Mm. But what they didn't have, maybe, and maybe that's why we kind of find ourselves back in some of those feudal times, that huge gap, is because they didn't have something like this, maybe. So I'm incredibly inspired. I didn't really know what it was about, but I'm so grateful to all of you who have spearheaded this and the generous invitation to let me sit in. Thank you so much to all of you.
So welcome, Lisa. Lisa does incredible work from her base in Colorado that we're really excited about partnering with too, on changing thinking patterns and a lot of the neuroscience behind this. So that means a lot, Lisa. Thank you. Great checkouts. I love when people are pumped, connected, filled up. So good. And Anne, yes, you're in just the right place. Good. You're welcome, Janice. I love that. Thinking about others' gifts in a different way. That's exactly it, right? Just what Zach said. Steve is feeling grounded, which is great. Yeah, I know. We can just sit and beam at each other. My mom's teaching, she's a yoga teacher, and so she's transitioned successfully to Zoom. And she's been talking about how she's learning to sense the energy not being in a room together. It's hard for a yoga teacher. It's hard for all of us, right? To lose that physical dimension. But maybe that's a muscle we can grow in this, is how do we sense fields and energy via Zoom.
Adios,
Feel free to sign off. Oh,
thank you.
thank you, Anne. Take care, everyone. See you Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, things.
Peace.